And the last point, which comes up all the time, again, getting back to my original point. So a tenant has space in the building, and let's assume has 3 or 4 years left on the lease, and now space becomes available in the building, let's say adjoining space, that's subject to this ROFO. The landlord, by having to offer the space to the tenant, would say, listen, I'm going to be offering it for a 5-year term, or 10-year term, or 5 years with options, right? Tenant has 2 years left, the existing tenant only has 2 years left in the term. Tenant says, well, listen, I only need it for 2 years, I can't go beyond the expiration date. So that's always a big issue. At what point does this ROFO, let's say, expire, where the tenant doesn't have enough time in its lease, right, to make it worthwhile, or make it fair for a landlord to say, okay, because, you know, from the tenant's standpoint, tenant wants it to be what's the term is coterminous. So the new space terminates, expires at the same time. So one of the terms that we usually negotiate in these ROFOs, there has to be a certain minimum term left in the original lease before the landlord has to come to the tenant. So if you have 6, 7 years left in the lease, that's fine. But if you only have 2 years left in the lease, that's not fine. So typically about a 5-year cutoff. So if there's less than 5 years left in the lease, or 4 years, then the landlord no longer has to come to the tenant and offer that space. So that's, as a landlord, I want to make sure that I'm not going to be saddled with having to offer space to an existing tenant for 2 years when I can go to the market and offer it for 5 or even 10 years. So that's one of the important considerations.